All right, folks, let's set the stage here. The 2024 election year is rapidly approaching. The bad faith, disloyal, openly authoritarian, and anti democratic cult of personality known as the Republican Party is desperate to seize power by any means necessary. The current incumbent Democratic president is beset by a number of challenges, which are made worse by a hostile media and political landscape. Yet in the face of all that, supporters of democracy should rejoice because we have on our side the most powerful force on earth, Taylor Swift. But before we unpack all that, if you haven't yet, please hit that like, subscribe, and the alert bell. Maybe check out my Patreon. I'd appreciate the support. All right, so again, I'm recovering from COVID, so if I sound like crap, I apologize. I'm on the mend, but I'm going to try to struggle through this to the best of my ability. Let's talk Taylor Swift, which I thought I imagine you never thought this channel would cover since we talk strict politics. Full disclosure, I grew up in rural Kentucky, so I've been inundated with Taylor Swift since 2008, which is when I believe she came on the scene, when she was, an unabashed country music singer, and then she rapidly made her, transformation into a pop singer. So my favorite bands are Journey and Def Leppard, right? So I tend to be more old school, but I love anything that's catchy. And so I've actually been a low-key Taylor Swift fan for, 15 years, okay? And as a matter of fact, my favorite song by her, in case you're wondering, and I'm sure you are, is Red, from the title track from the Red album. I think it was released in like 2012, 2014, something like that. Anyway, who knew that this pop culture icon, somebody who I think is in the middle of the biggest grossing tour in the history of the planet, I think the Eras Tour is set to gross $1 billion in revenue. Who knew that she would be the most powerful pro-democratic force? And when I say pro-democrat, I mean it in both terms, pro-democracy, and I think in a roundabout way, pro-democratic party as well. So the other day during National Voter Registration Day, she put out an Instagram story, and she urged her followers, her gazillion followers, to go out and register to vote. And I know this number may seem small, but it's actually quite significant in the grand scheme of things. Taylor Swift snags 35,000 new registered voters. Axios breaks this down. A Taylor Swift Instagram post drove a record-breaking web traffic to vote.org this week and helped the site register more than 35,000 new voters. To put that in perspective, 44,000 voters were the margin of difference in key battleground states collectively, but 44,000 total was what allowed President Biden to become president in the 2020 election. Yes, he won the popular vote by more than 7 million, but as you know, we have an electoral college. So this nearly made as much difference. In one day, she got nearly as many voters to register as was the margin of victory in 2020. This is huge, and this was from one post on one damn day. Why it matters. It's another example of the pop star's outsized influence on American life, first boosting the economy. I didn't hear about that. I'm not surprised. She and California are probably the single biggest economic powerhouses that the United States can unleash. 35,252 people newly registered to vote on Tuesday, a 23% jump from last year's National Voter Registration Day, okay? I've been so lucky to see many of you guys at my U.S. shows recently. Taylor Swift wrote in a message. I've heard you raise your voices, and I know how powerful they are. Make sure you're ready to use them in our elections. Folks, this is huge, and hopefully indicative that she intends to, make a concerted effort concerted, to consistently drive up voter turnout. Because again, if this is what she can accomplish on one day with one Instagram vote, President Biden, the White House should probably be reaching out to her and like, hey, yo, AT, can I join the squad? Joe Biden as part of the Taylor Swift squad would probably be enormously impactful for maximizing Democrats' chances to win the 2024 election. Now, I do want to play a quick clip here. This is a low-res, it's like 280p, but this is from like a Taylor Swift documentary. The clip resurfaced on TikTok, but I want to play a clip here because if you're not familiar with Taylor Swift's music in terms of its lyrical content, it shouldn't surprise you that she is actually, I don't know if you would consider her liberal or progressive, but she is certainly on the left. She is not conservative, okay? If you listen to songs like You Need to Calm Down, like the lyrics are very openly pro-LGBTQ. But if you have any doubts, listen to what she has to say. This is from a few years ago, in which she gets pretty candid and vulnerable about her regrets with respect to her political advocacy.
Not got involved with politics or religion.
Yeah, but this is on the home front. And also, back in the presidential election, I was in such a horrendous place that I wasn't going to pop my head out of the sand for anything.
Why would you? I mean, does Bob Hope do it? Did Bing Crosby do it? Does Mick Jagger do it?
Hell? Come on.
No, what I'm saying right now is
Bob Hope and
First
Bing
of all,
Crosby.
these aren't your dad's celebrities and these aren't your dad's Republicans.
Imagine if we came to you and said, hey, we've got this idea that we could halve the number of people that come to you next tour.
And the other thing, just from a security
So you
standpoint,
think people-
Taylor Swift comes out against Trump.
I don't care if they write that. I'm sad that I didn't 2 years ago, but I can't change that.
So this is her arguing with her father and I think one of her managers about what she regrets in terms of her silence with respect to political advocacy during the 2016 election. This was from 2018 during the midterms, okay? And understandably, her managers and even her parents, I mean, I understand, I'm not a parent myself, but I imagine, like, listen, MAGA's crazy. If you come out against Trump, the cult leader of MAGA, it could endanger your life. But she very bravely took the position like, yeah, so what? I regret not doing it in the first place. And she has become more consistently outspoken against the modern conservative movement, the modern Republican Party, and certainly against Donald Trump. And I also want to play a clip here of this is what Donald Trump had to say in response.
Taylor Swift, now that she's in politics. Taylor Swift jumping into politics. What do you have to say to her? And what did she say? She said she wants people to vote for Democrats. And not Marsha Blackburn, especially. Well, Marsha Blackburn is doing a very good job in Tennessee. She's leading now substantially, which she should. She's a tremendous woman. I'm sure Taylor Swift has nothing or doesn't know anything about her. And let's say that I like Taylor's music about 25% less now, okay? Thank you.
So, yeah, as a reminder, Taylor Swift is a resident of Tennessee. Marsha Blackburn, who is one of the craziest MAGA senators, is her representative. God help her. But anyway, yeah, so listen, folks, this is really, really good. There's no guarantee that if you maximize eligible voter turnout, that it will always favor Democrats. As a matter of fact, and if you're a conservative watching this, I suppose you should take heart because during the 2022 midterms, there was a bit of a rarity in which more people voted Republican collectively, one of the rare times that's happened, than Democrats, right? So this is my ongoing beef with Republicans, right? They should also favor maximum eligible voter turnout, not only because it's philosophically supportive of our democratic republic, but also even though they're convinced they can't win a free and fair election, it's because they haven't had to try in decades. They're more interested in rigging the rules of the game further in their favor. But if they would moderate their rhetoric, if they would actually campaign on an attractive policy agenda, Republicans would remain incredibly competitive in this country. Increasing voter turnout benefits both parties. It will probably benefit Democrats more just because Democrats are generally more popular. But again, that's because Republicans suck and they choose to suck. It's because this party chooses to suck. It doesn't have to. Moderate your rhetoric, moderate your policy, try to appeal to more people. But anyway, this is a really great thing that Taylor Swift is doing. Hopefully, again, it's the start of a consistent effort on her part. I'm sure she has to balance it with, again, security issues, the fact that she's trying to remain, a household name in all parts of the country, red states and blue states. I'm sure it's a tightrope to walk, but good for her for putting her democratic principles above the potential risks to her career and to her safety.